Hi Perry, first of all, thanks for going through the process of explaining how the IDs of tubes with me. So I've had that conversation with him. I was struggling to get the flow I needed out of my radial. Now I use 8mm ID real hose, which is great. 8mm ID is probably 5/8 inch. And at 80 meters in the high flow tubing at 60 PSI, which works great for me. So that basically Ray's already written to me. I've had that conversation with him, and that is exactly the right way to go. You know, we have to, you know, if you want to use a radial brush with a radial technique, you have to change. Maybe you have to change and maybe you don't, but don't blame the brush if it doesn't work the way it's designed. Somewhere else in your system, you've got something old. Yeah, so you go throwing a new motor in your car, and it's got, you know, retread tires, and then you go zipping down the road at 100 miles an hour and your retreads peel. Well, if you have a motor that can take your car at 100 miles an hour, maybe you've got to put, you know, proper tires on. So you've got to, and we've had to do the same. We've had to work the way from saying, what do we want to achieve at the glass? Because we want to have the fastest brush, because the brush cleans the glass, and then we have to work our way back and then bit by bit improve everything. And then if there's not naturally available in the industry, then for example this hose, then we'll bring this hose out and say, well, here it is, this is your long run hose, rather than saying to you, you could use this hose or that hose. You know, it's better that we supply it to you. So this will be available, by the way. This will be called Radial Hose, and this will be available maybe December. We'll put it on the ocean to the States and to Australia. So it's probably not viable at this point anywhere outside of the States. Maybe Canada, we can do some and get some to Canada. But sea shipping, we can't just send one by sea. As you can imagine, we're going to send a couple of pallets at least. So that just gives you an idea. But and we've also got a reel. So actually we're going to put 50 meters on a reel with 75 feet of high flow, and then that will be the pack that we sell.
About the video, it's called High Flow, Increase Your Flow Rate.
High Flow, Increase Your Flow Rate is the name of the video that you can find.
To understand pressure, flow rate, and how they work together.
Yeah, we do this amazing demonstration. Man's on top of a 6-story building looking down, and I'm laying everything out, and then we put the script together over the top of it, and we show you the difference in the jet streams when you change from one tube to another and one hose to another. All right, so Ray continues. He says, I'm very interested in using the underjets which come with radial, but never fitted them, as I don't want to cut the tubing and fitting them and find that I'm not getting the flow stream over the brush again. Yes, fair call. And I can't go back as I've cut my tubing to fit the underneath jets. So by fitting them, will it affect the jet stream? And can I demonstrate how to fit them? Well, we do have a video on how to fit them, but I can demonstrate. Right.
We have a video called Unboxing Radial Rocker.
Right, so the video called, which is on YouTube and on the Radial Rocker page, is,
it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Oh, because we changed the Radial Rocker page, yeah. So the video is called Unboxing Radial Rocker.
And in the end of that video, the last part is how to add the base jets.
Right. Right, how to add the base jets. Okay, so I should grab a radial rocker as well, actually, to talk about that.
And it's quite easy, actually.
Yeah, the fitting of them. His concern is whether it's going to, you know, because he started off with something like Rhino Tube. Then he changed to high flow. Now his jets are working perfectly. And he's saying, you gave me these base jets. If I fit them, will I lose my flow rate over the top? And the answer is, I don't know. So if you zoom in here, Martin, so what he's talking about, this is on Deep Frame. Deep Frame and Solar Rock, I have these jets fitted naturally.
The white one.
The white one. The white one's there. So there's 4 jets on this side, 4 jets on this side. So 4 jets on the left, 4 jets on the right for the people listening to the podcast. And they are on the bottom of the brush where the water comes into the brush. Okay, so every time somebody buys a radial rocker, we put those in case they have the flow rate to add them, but we don't add them in case you don't, because everybody's flow rate's different. And the industry, most people are gravitating towards Reach It, and then in that gravitation, they've got older stuff that's designed for pencil jets and fan jets and Even some of the people have got some of the other rinse bars which are not designed the same way as we design ours. So they work with a lower flow rate, but they don't do the same thing. So you lose the efficiency. They don't solve the efficiency. They just give you they give you a rinse bar. So they may affect efficiency. I don't want to undermine the value that they might add, but they don't add the same value as jet streams that go all the way across to the outside of the bristle when it's splayed on the glass. Okay, so if you wanted to fit those base jets, you would have to cut the exact length of the insert, let's say, out of these. And that's easy on the video, so we don't have to go through that. The question is, does it affect the flow rate? And the answer is yes, of course. Firstly, noticing that the water comes in through the bottom of the brush, and we're adding jets to the bottom of the brush. And that water, if you understand water, water always finds the path of least resistance. So if it can come in through the bottom of the brush and then go out through the bottom of the brush, it's going to want to do that. Now, obviously, the pressure and flow rate that we're pushing into the brush determines how much of the water gets to the top of the brush and then out through the radial shaped jet streams, right? So we've got to be able to get the water to bend. It comes in through the bottom, around to the top, and then it has to bend and turn back 60 degrees on itself and go 60 degrees back the way it came. And that's the hydroblade. Yep.
And also the bases also have this blade.
Yeah, the base has splay. It's a very good point. So the base jets, for those who don't know what they are, they also splay. So each of the 4 jets squirts in different places. They don't just squirt straight, right? So we're trying to give you a...
So we try to give you multiple.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So we try and give you an amount of water. So why do we do that? Well, if you've got really dirty windows, the downstroke is critical for removing the dirty water. So what we've found is that on really dirty windows, if you can add water to the downstroke, you can pull and turbulate more dirt into that water, so you get more dirt off the glass in a single stroke as compared to leaving the water inside the brush or over the brush, right? So that's why, for example, Deep Frame has it standard, because usually commercial jobs are not as regular.
Even the Solar Rocker has a
Solar Rockers has them, Solar Rockers the other way around, where we put the less water on the top because we don't want to be pushing dirty water up the windows so much, but we still need water above the brush as part of the agitation function. But actually, most of the jets on a Solar Rocker are on the bottom so that we can pull amazing amounts of dirty water off in volume, turbulating, not in a sort of semi-dry environment. So if, in basic terms, if a radial rocker, like all of the radial brushes are all designed for a 2.5 litre per minute, 2 to 2.5 litre a minute, which is around half a gallon a minute flow rate, then you would add 50% of that again for the flow rate required to have the brush perform in the same way with base jets. So around 3 litres a minute for a Deep Frame, or 3/4 of a gallon per minute, maybe a little bit less than that, So,
and you can also say that it sounds a lot, but because the brushes are designed to clean much faster,
yeah.
so you don't really use more water.
Yeah, so that's a good point, right? Yeah. So sometimes guys go, oh, I don't want to use that much water. And we go, if you use a higher flow rate, you can increase your time by multiples, not just like 10%, like multiples. So if you've increased your efficiency by multiples, you're now using less water volume, right? So you use a higher flow rate to use less volume. And that's the efficiency of the science behind the radial brush, yeah? So the other thing that I wanted to think about, Martin, is if somebody wanted to test what it would look like, then you could disassemble the brush at the T-piece where the water comes in, and then just push the base jets in there, isn't it? I'm kind of thinking aloud. His question is, I don't want to cut this tube, fit those jets, and then find that my radial top jets don't work.
So what I would do is I would measure exactly the size of this.
No, if he cut, as soon as he cuts, he can't go back. That's his point.
No, that's what I mean. So measure this so you know exactly the length of this. Otherwise,
Well, this goes all the way around to here. So, but if he doesn't have rhino tube, if he doesn't have rhino tube, he can't cut that without knowing. But we can put the jet in there. We'll make a video on that. I think we'll make a video on that. I'll get my engineers to work out a way to do it. Or we'll add a little piece of tube to everybody's in the future so you can do it.
yeah, maybe it could be like you get the whole tube for the base jet.
Yes, or at least the second part. So we tell them to cut it here and then add this.
Yeah.
You know, well, no, that won't work either. That also won't work.
We think about that later.
We'll think about it. Yeah.
We try to solve it.
So what we're going to do is solve this problem, how to test the brush without changing the brush, right? So that if you don't have enough flow rate or whatever, or maybe we'll give an extra length. Yeah, no, we'll add some more rhino tube, I think.
Yeah, add more rhino tube and the inline.
Yeah, with the inline bit. Yeah, just change it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that would be a good idea.
Send me a note. No, we'll do that. No, I'll do it. I know exactly what's the right idea. That is definitely the right idea. Okay, so can you send me a note on that?
Yeah.
And we'll change what we do in the future.
Add the tube to
File.
the inline base jet.
Yeah, it's just so that they can just fit it and then unfit it and change the flow rate of the brush with or without those jets. Whew. Got me thinking. But that's why we like to stay as close as we can to the customer, you know, as a manufacturer. Because before, when we have distributors now, but the distributors don't usually communicate with us the same as an end user does. And because I was a window cleaner and because I designed the brush, if somebody says something which I go, yeah, that's a problem, but we can solve that problem, then we solve that problem. That's how we go. So that's how we've been able to develop these brushes so fast. And then everybody else has to follow, but they can't follow what we're doing in the future. They can only follow what we've done in the past, and they won't follow what we've done in the past until 1 or 2 years later, till they see whether we've solved all the problems or whether we have problems or bad press or anything like that. So we have this really nice lead time.
We appreciate your feedback. It's always helpful. Everything can always get better.
Everything can get better. Not that I have many ideas left, but let's go.